Have you ever seen someone so entitled they thought they could steal from a tip jar in broad daylight and walk away unscathed? Let me tell you about the day I witnessed Evelyn Harper, our neighborhood's self-proclaimed queen bee, crash and burn in the most spectacular way at Java Junction, our cozy local cafe. It was a morning I'll never forget, and trust me, you'll want to hear how this unfolded. I was sipping my usual black coffee at Java Junction, tucked into a corner booth, when Evelyn stormed in like a hurricane in high heels. With her designer sunglasses perched on her perfectly styled hair and a scowl that could curdle milk, she radiated the kind of arrogance that had made her infamous as the president of Willow Creek's Homeowners Association. Everyone knew her as the woman who'd fine you for planting the wrong shade of roses or parking your car an inch too close to the curb. She surveyed the bustling cafe with a look of pure disdain, her manicured nails tapping impatiently as she approached the counter. "Excuse me," she snapped at the young barista, barely letting the poor girl say hello. "I need a non-fat caramel latte, exactly 1 pump of sugar-free syrup, extra hot, 135 degrees. Not 134, not 136, 135. Got it?" The barista, a sweet kid named Lily, nodded with a polite smile and rang up the order, but Evelyn was already muttering under her breath about incompetent kids running things these days. I sank lower in my seat, praying she wouldn't spot me. See, I'd been on Evelyn's bad side ever since I painted my front door a shade of charcoal gray she deemed unacceptable for Willow Creek's aesthetic. 3 violation notices and a DO Law 150 fine later, I knew better than to cross her. Evelyn claimed a table by the window, positioning herself like a hawk ready to swoop. She pulled sanitizing wipes from her designer purse and scrubbed the already spotless table, as if the staff's cleaning wasn't up to her lofty standards. The cafe was buzzing with the morning rush, students grabbing to-go orders, moms chatting over muffins, baristas hustling behind the counter. But Evelyn's patience was wearing thin. Her face flushed redder with every passing minute as she checked her diamond-encrusted watch, sighing loudly each time someone else's name was called. I could practically see the steam rising from her head when a guy who'd ordered a simple drip coffee got his drink before her. "Excuse me," she barked, flagging down a passing barista. "I've been waiting over 5 minutes. Why are all these people who came in after me getting their drinks first?" The barista, keeping his cool, explained that specialty drinks with precise temperature requests took longer. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "Well, I'm the president of Willow Creek's HOA, and I can assure you this kind of service wouldn't fly in our community." I nearly choked on my coffee. Did she really just pull her HOA card in a coffee shop? The nerve of this woman. The other customers started to notice, exchanging awkward glances as Evelyn's voice grew louder. The staff, bless their hearts, stayed professional, but you could tell they were rattled. Finally, a barista called out, "Evelyn!" Another worker, balancing a steaming cup, approached her table. "1 non-fat caramel latte, extra hot at 135 degrees, she said cheerfully. But Evelyn wasn't how-vying it. She stared at the barista like she'd been handed a cup of sludge. "How do I know it's 135 degrees? Do you even use a thermometer? I've been to enough cafes to know when I'm being lied to." The barista, clearly thrown, stammered that they did use a thermometer for specific orders. Evelyn took a dramatic sip, her face twisting into a grimace. "This is barely warm. Maybe 120 degrees, if I'm being generous. I asked for 135. The barista apologized and offered to remake it, but as she walked away, Evelyn's voice boomed across the cafe. "This is what's wrong with service today. No attention to detail, no respect for customers. As HOA president, I uphold the highest standards in our neighborhood. Maybe your manager could learn a thing or two from our board meetings." The cafe went quiet, all eyes on Evelyn. I shifted uncomfortably, feeling second-hand embarrassment as she ranted on. The manager, a calm woman named Sarah, approached with the kind of professionalism you only get from years of dealing with difficult people. "Ma'am, I'm sorry you're unhappy with your drink. We'll remake it, but please speak to my staff respectfully." Evelyn's face turned beet red. Respect? I've been waiting almost 15 minutes for a latte any decent barista could make in 2. Meanwhile, everyone else gets their orders instantly. I'm a paying customer, and I deserve better. Sarah explained that the morning rush meant longer waits for everyone, especially for custom orders. But Evelyn was beyond reasoning. She stood, clutching her purse, and marched to the counter where the tip jar sat, stuffed with bills and coins from grateful customers. What happened next left me and everyone else speechless. With a smirk, Evelyn reached over the counter, plunged her hand into the jar, and grabbed a fistful of cash. Since you've wasted my time, I deserve compensation, she declared, shoving the money into her purse. Hey, you can't do that! Lily shouted, her eyes wide with shock. That's stealing! Evelyn scoffed. It's not stealing if I'm taking back what's owed to me. 15 minutes of my life gone because of your incompetence. Consider this a lesson. My jaw hit the floor. I fumbled for my phone and started recording, and I wasn't the only one. Half the cafe had their cameras out, capturing every second of this madness. Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady but firm. Ma'am, that money belongs to my staff. Return it now, or I'll call the police. Evelyn laughed, a cold, condescending sound that echoed through the silent cafe. Go ahead. Do you know who I am? I'm the president of Willow Creek's HOA. I sit on 3 community boards and have lunch with the mayor monthly. You think the police will side with coffee shop workers over me? This is compensation for my emotional distress. Sarah didn't blink. She nodded to Lily, who pressed an emergency button under the counter. We have security cameras, ma'am. One last chance to return what's not yours. Evelyn's smug grin didn't falter. She was basking in the attention. Con V. Wine said she was untouchable. You people need to learn actions have consequences, she said. If you'd made my drink right, we wouldn't be here. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I stood, still recording, and called out. Evelyn, you need to put that money back. This isn't like fining someone for their mailbox color. You're on camera stealing. Her eyes locked onto me, venom in her gaze. Mind your own business, she hissed. And by the way, your lawn is half an inch too long. Expect a notice tomorrow. Before I could fire back, the cafe doors swung open, and 2 police officers walked in. Sarah quickly filled them in, pointing to the tip jar and the footage. Evelyn's demeanor flipped like a switch. Gone was the snarling tyrant. In its place was a syrupy sweet smile I'd seen her use at HOA meetings. Officers, thank goodness you're here, she cooed. This is all a misunderstanding. I was just making a point about this place's terrible service. The female officer, unimpressed, cut her off. Ma'am, we got a report you took money from the tip jar. Is that true? Evelyn waved a hand. Well, yes, but it was symbolic. As HOA president, I have authority to address financial imbalances in community matters. The officer's face was stone. A private business isn't under your HOA's jurisdiction. Taking money that's not yours is theft, period. Evelyn's mask slipped. Now listen, I've been a pillar of this community for 20 years. I wasn't going to keep it. I was teaching these kids about service. The second officer, who'd been reviewing the security footage, looked up. The video shows you taking cash and putting it in your purse, saying you deserved it for your weight. That's theft. For the first time, Evelyn looked rattled. She yanked the crumpled bills from her purse and thrust them at Sarah. Fine, take your precious money. This is absurd. I've organized fundraisers for your police charity ball. I know Chief Thompson personally. The female officer took the cash and handed it to Sarah. Returning it doesn't erase the crime. Ma'am, place your purse on the counter and put your hands behind your back. Evelyn's jaw dropped. You're arresting me? Over a few dollars? We're arresting you for theft and disorderly conduct, the officer said, pulling out handcuffs. What followed was surreal. Evelyn Harper, Willow Creek's reigning terror, being cuffed and read her Miranda rights in front of a stunned cafe. Her sunglasses slipped off as she shrieked. "This is outrageous! I demand to speak to your supervisor! I have a board meeting tomorrow!" As the officers led her out, I gave Sarah my contact info. I recorded everything. Happy to be a witness. By evening, the vidéos included had blown up online. Evelyn's voice, proclaiming the tips as compensation for emotional distress, became a meme overnight. 3 days later, at an emergency HOA meeting, Evelyn's lawyer revealed she faced misdemeanor theft charges, with fines up to $1,000 and possible jail time, though she'd likely get community service as a first-time offender. The board voted unanimously to oust her as president, citing her unbecoming conduct. Her real estate firm suspended her, and legal fees were piling up to $5,000. Then came the kicker. A judge sentenced Evelyn to 200 hours of community service Java Junction. The irony was delicious. The woman who terrorized baristas now had to serve coffee to the very people she'd scorned. As I read the news, I couldn't help but grin. Evelyn Harper's empire of entitlement had crumbled, and the whole town was watching.